Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the BBC, the Boardwalk Broadcasting Company. Our guests today are Noslim in the top left there. We have Mel Bluebell, their names as you can see there, and Elbereth. I today am kind of like feeling a little bit stiff, so you won't see me moving around a little bit. Although rumor has it there might be a couple of few little tech problems going on my side with the camera. We will be chatting today about a variety of topics. The big thing on the table right now is account merging. There's a lot still to be said about that, and we're going to be looking a little bit about what we're learning about Voxilleria still that's going to be coming out. And Mel is going to be diving into some more depth on character creation, which we touched on a little bit last week. We will also have our competition going this week. And Mel, I don't know if you have the link for the form.
I
Uh,
do.
If you can post that link, that would be awesome. We have the competition for this week's prizes is going to be, instead of kind of like coming up with we normally post a kind of like a code and we get kind of like clever and witty answers for that. What we're going to do this week is it's going to be the best Illyrian pickup lines. So if you can imagine, if a Kipik is trying to pick up on Brudvir or Genoa, etc., what would they say to them? And Mel has posted the link. You'll be able to post your clever pickup lines in there. We reserve the right to use them in game if they're really, really good. Alrighty. I think what we shall start with at the moment is Noslim. Let's start with you and account merging. Tell us what you have found out more about account merging, what you think people should know, be aware of, etc. Things that account merging will do, things that it won't do. Over to you.
What have I found out about account merging? They've released, I think, a 14,000 word essay on account merging. And what I know is the website is down right now. COE is down right now for merging to roll out. And so, in preparation for this stream tonight, I was, thinking of putting together a couple of little images or clips or illustrations to aid my hillbilly ass in explaining this. But as I was going through it all, it's just so much information. There's just tons of information. So what I recommend you do is go to COE, chroniclesofillyria.com, click on forums, click on news and announcements. It should be up there somewhere close to the top. It says account merging is almost here. There's like I said, about a 20-page essay there. And then there's another 20 or so follow-up FAQs on that as well. So merging is huge. There's a lot of information coming out about it, and there's still a lot of questions about it as it's rolling out. So for me personally, I wanted more clarity on the alternatives to merging, such as transferring of land and title and in my humble little capacity, I did what I could to get some more of that information for us. But the skinny of it is, there's a lot of times that we ask or we want information or we want SBS to give us more details and more goody, juicy golden nuggets, and they're just not ready to. Example would be the EP store. People were talking the other day saying, they should open up the EP store now. That would bring in a lot more money. Yeah, it probably would, but what people are buying now may change in value during the development, and then we know what would happen then because what I bought 6 months ago is not worth as much now as it was then, and so it would be chaos. But so we just have to be patient. The studio is going to release the information they can when they can, and sometimes before they should. But there's a lot of information out there on merging. I'm not going to dig into any particular details, except for one caveat that was rolled out here recently regarding the villas and manors. So there was a concern in the community that a lot of people were, merging packages together, and their manors or their villas weren't stacking. And so SBS came out and said that they're going to give you EP for those specific items that don't stack. So I think that was a good compromise. That was a curveball that got thrown in late after the merging announcement, and they addressed it pretty good. I have to scroll down 40 pages to find it, but it was if you have more than one villa after merging your account, they will combine into a manor. Beyond that, all additional villas will grant 600 EP, and all additional manors will grant 1,000 EP. So I think that was a good compromise, and that's very recent news from the studio. But I'll shut up. If y'all have any questions, feel free, knock it out.
Yeah, no, that's like you say, for the manor, that's around about another $100 worth of EP. So that sounds like a good thing. Quick, I guess a couple of comments that I have about the merging is, to those listening, don't. I think there's a lot of questioning about, wow, is it going to be this complicated, et cetera, et cetera. Caspian himself has said that, I think in that very FAQ that you were referencing there, Noslim, that, once two accounts are merged, you are not going to be able to unmerge them. It's not going to be possible just due to how all the data is going, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think people should be worried about that, because I would very well imagine that within the first 24 to 48 hours is that one of the amazing things about the Chronicles of Lyria community as a whole is that they're very, very helpful to each other, regardless of what server or kingdom or community you're a part of. And I think you'll see people will have put up screenshots showing exactly what they did and the UI and where to click and everything like that, so that you can make sure that it that it goes as relatively smoothly as possible. Mel, do you have any questions or anything additional to pop in about account merging?
You're muted, Mel.
Every time. I don't have anything major to add, so you weren't missing much. Other than the fact that I'm honestly, when I merge, it's just going to be going line by line by line, so I don't screw it up. Because, with my luck, technical issues, it always happens. But yeah, Nas is not kidding about the length of the instructions on merging, so hopefully that means we can't screw it up. So that's my two bits.
How about yourself, Elb? Are you going to be merging any accounts? Do you have any concerns or questions you want to throw out there that maybe can be answered either in text or Noz or I can answer maybe?
No, not particularly. Account merging is not a huge worry of mine. I'm not too concerned about it.
Alrighty. Are you going to be merging any accounts?
Well, that one, the account they give you for, just having a specific package, I've been thinking about keeping that one separate. I kind of would like to have two separate accounts, so I don't really see much need to merge two accounts that I do have.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
That brings up another point,
Mm-hmm.
the packages that they're awarding us after merging. How is that going to play out? Are people going to be transferring those titles to their main accounts? And, is that why we're being kind of hush-hush about the mechanics of transferring right now? Not saying that they are, but if, I think the intention for those packages were, for us to gift them. And so it makes sense for them not to have made them available before merging, and for them to make them available after. But what comes next? That's the big question for me. I want details. I want to know what my options are. And so we know that the transferring and the wheeling and all that, there's going to be other mechanics that come down the line. But, give me those details on those too. So.
Yeah, for me, the kind of like the gift packages, which was kind of like during that Kickstarter anniversary event, I believe that I get a count package since I had a Monarch package. It would be nice, obviously, to merge it. I can see it if that's not going to be possible. I can understand the reasons why. I think as long as it's giftable, because if it's credited to our account, and you already have a Duke account or a Monarch account in this case, and you can't merge that count package, you should be able to definitely to gift it to a friend or an alternate account kind of thing. So one of the other things that they released, moving on here, is the character selection. We got some screenshots. These aren't finished UI, obviously, and everything like that. These are works in progress, so people shouldn't be kind of like down on it that, oh gosh, it's not quite as fleshed out as I expected it to be. But Mel, being somebody who I think self-confessed can spend hours and hours and hours creating, just working on their character. Let's turn it over to you and what you took away from the latest info we have.
So I do nerd out a bit when it comes to that stuff. And I was really excited to see screenshots. And like you said, it's not the finished UI or anything. But from what I've seen, it's really exciting. I can't wait. And it looks like they're really close to finishing it. So hopefully we'll get it soon. Um, and another thing I was super excited about, not so much I was kind of least or not least, but not as interested in the UI. UI doesn't I don't really stress out about UI too much. But they just released in I think it was like the last production kind of update, and they released these facial sculpts of like the extreme kind of tribe aspects, like at their most extreme, I think. But it was really cool to see just how much difference could be made in a character's face just from the shape of the nose leading into the brow, and how very, very different they do actually look. And of course, that'll all get kind of muddied, once we get in and we can play around and kind of mix bloodlines and mix tribes. Um, but just really seeing those features finally sculpt out after seeing the concept images for so long was really exciting. That, and we finally got a female 3D modeled character. We got the Dross female, and I was really excited about that. That was really cool. And it's just the characters in general are just really starting to get fleshed out, and I'm loving every second of it, and I can't wait to jump into the character creator. Another thing that's kind of new, we also finally got to see kind of all the finished completed celestial body concepts, and apparently those are actually going to be playing a role in our character creation as well. um, so I guess we're gonna kind of have our own Illyrian kind of zodiac thing going on, which will be really cool, and I can't wait to hear more about that as well.
Excellent. I think you've gone all quiet there, but I think that's just the Twitch lagging for me. So, a question I have for you then, Mel, since you do spend so much time on character creation and everything, what do you notice any differences so far between these kind of like still unfinished character creation screenshots we've seen from SBS, compared to some of the other MMOs that you've played?
Um, because the UI is so kind of in its infancy, I think there's not a huge amount of difference. I mean, right now it's simplified sliding scales for make this feature bigger, make this feature smaller. I mean, that's not really anything too new. Sliding scales are pretty popular. Um, it'd be interesting to see. I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think would be cool to see, and I'm not 100% sure how I'd even implement it, but making the character creation a bit more diegetic as far as UI is concerned. So making it kind of more immersive than just like sliding bars. Like like I said, I can't really actually. I'll have to think about how I'd actually implement that, but that's something I'd like to see maybe.
There was a game, I've forgotten which one it was that I was playing, where you could change the character's face and their body by actually clicking your mouse on the either on the facial feature or something and actually stretching it or pushing it in or raising it higher or lower. It was
Hmm.
almost like you were modeling and editing the 3D model of the face and the body in real time. Um,
I imagine that would be pretty difficult. I don't know.
I
That sounds
think
like
so.
difficult UI to
Yeah.
implement. I don't know. I wouldn't want to touch that personally.
Yeah,
If
with
I were working on the art for that, that would stress me out. But
slide
that's
as it
really
might
cool.
be. What
Yeah.
how do you feel, how many hours would you say that you would anticipate spending on building a character or a character face in a game like this?
So Chronicles of Lear is kind of interesting, I think, for me because normally I think character creation it's a lot more black and white in a lot of other games. You know, you're going to be this class, you're going to be this race, you're going to have this type of armor. Um, but in Chronicles of Elyria, the tribes aren't necessarily. I mean, I guess they're as close to kind of races as you can get, but they're not. The facial features aren't overwhelmingly different, if that makes sense. Like you're not going from like an orc to like your human based character. They're not quite that drastic. So you actually have a lot more gray area to play with in this game. So I anticipate spending a lot more time exploring all the gray areas of character creation in Chronicles of Elyria, just because you're not going to be limited by what armor type you want to wear and all that, because that's all stuff that you actually get once you're in the game. So it's going to be really interesting, I think.
All right, kudos there for slipping in. I think it was an unintentional pun, but when you said the changes aren't that drastic,
Ah,
you know.
Wah, wah.
So yeah.
I will not
Alrighty.
reveal whether that was intentional or not.
Then how about the mechanic of aging? Because typically, people who spend, the hours and hours and hours creating their character and their face, it's kind of like, oh, well, this is the character I expect to be playing for the next year or 2 years or 5 years, whatever the case might be. And
Hmm.
it's static. You create that character and it's there, and that's part of the justifying of spending so many hours on it. But how about in Chronicles of Lyra? I mean, you might start off at age 12 or age 16. Are you excited about the fact that the face and the character that you make, or in terms of the body, is actually going to be changing? It's going to be dynamic throughout this whole time. There's going to be age lines are going to be coming in there. Depending upon, I guess, upon how you eat, you're gonna put on weight or lose weight, and that might kind of like change your facial features. Suntan is said to be added to that. Yeah, you might even get unkempt hair or longer hair if you've been out in the wilderness too long.
And
How do you
scars from combat.
scars
Yeah,
from combat? Exactly.
yeah.
How do you think this adds to your character creation, or does it ruin all the hours and hours of painstaking work that you did putting into to create it?
I'm really excited about it. Granted, I think like in an earlier stream, I joked about how I can't even escape sunburn now in video games. But I think as much time as we spend in character creation and as much time as much as we enjoy creating the character, this you know it's almost like a mini game in and of itself. If you really care that much about not having anything change the features of your character, then you're gonna have to work at it. You can't just run around. You're gonna have to, dodge from shadow to shadow so you don't get sunburned. Or if you're I'm gonna be honest, I feel like if you're a person who's interested in like heavy PvP, I feel like you're gonna want the scars. I mean, that's just kind of almost another way of like storytelling with your character of what you've been through. Um, So I think it kind of adds a really nice dimension to your character. So I'm excited about it. I'm not too worried about the sunburns or you know, dieting in Chronicles of Illyria. That'll be fun. But yeah, I'm 100% in favor of it. If nothing else, then it's new. I think the only other game I've really encountered anything like that in was the Fable games. If you ate a bunch of food, you bulk up and everything. And but this is kind of going to be on a much more delicate, intricate level.
Awesome, awesome stuff. Noslim, do you have anything to add on to that regarding character creation?
No, I mean that's a cool point that you guys hit on with the people that are going to spend time creating these characters, and then people like me and Elb or Lotaran who just followed us. How has he not followed us before now?
Damn it, Lotaran.
Before fellows like us come along and beat your face in the ground, and then it's not so pretty anymore. But yeah, that's actually something I didn't give much thought to. So that's very cool. That's interesting.
Elbreth, how about yourself? How are you feeling about character creation?
Well, I'm the kind of person who spends 10, maybe 15 seconds on character creation. So the actual details of what my character looks like, there's a certain look that I do want for the character. But one thing I think about is that additionally, in addition to all the things that your character does that will change it, you're also going to have children, and that is, assumedly will change how your next character looks as well. I'm kind of curious if you have much control over what your heirs look like. Will they change as well? Especially based on what tribes you mate with, I guess is the term to use. So yeah, so just things like that, the actual mechanics of it, I am pretty interested in. Will character, just what will different characters look like? I mean, when you think about it, you'll be able to look at a character and know if they're the type that spends all day working a forge or is out in the hot fields, or if they're a more noble like and they spend their days indoors. And I think that'll be really interesting and be an aspect of the game that is really unique to it, and you probably haven't seen in other games before. So.
Awesome stuff. Good. Noz, if I can get you to put the image up of the Voxel chamber image, this will actually be a good point probably to segue from talking about character creation to now talking about the steps that are being made as we get closer and closer to Voxelia coming out. For those of you that aren't aware, Voxelia is basically it's a voxel. A lot of people kind of like call it. Oh, it's like Illyria on meets Minecraft.
Minecraft, yep.
But they're going to be introducing where we're going to be able to test a tremendous amount of the game mechanics. Not all of them transfer from the game into voxels and vice versa, but a very large amount of them will be able to do a lot of the kind of like the broader dynamics that are going on, etc. And they released a picture of the soul chamber where the Akashic records are stored, where you choose your soul, and presumably there you start creating your character. They did show pictures of the voxel images of the different tribes and the males and females, etc. Coming in. How do you feel they're coming along with Voxelia, Elb? What is it you're most looking forward to there?
Really just the hands-on experience, getting to be a part of the game and seeing how it's coming along, and just all the neat things that they're planning on including. I assume that as time goes on, they'll be testing more and more mechanics, more and more systems in Voxelia. So it'll be just so neat to have sort of a behind-the-scenes look of a game being made and mechanics being fleshed out. If I was going to get specific, trying to think what I'd be most interested in about it. I guess again, just more a general getting to play around with all the different mechanics, and really just getting some physical tangible proof that SBS is making a game here, and they are doing hard work on this. I think Voxelia is going to do a really good job of showing that to the community.
Excellent stuff. Mel, I see you kind of like giggling and laughing there in the background. I presume that's at some of the pickup lines and responses. I'm not going to ask you for a winner right now, but can you pick out like 3 or 4 that you think are really funny that that we can share with the viewers so they can see what it is you're cracking up over?
Let me see. I just got another one. Let's see.
Try to keep it clean, Mel. I know it's
can't.
hard.
There's so many like.
This
Of
is an
course.
adult channel. If you're under 18, log out now.
Like,
This is
okay,
this is
let's
your
just not think about
FFC
this for a
warning.
second. Like, I'm not gonna read about, but just imagine all the jokes you can make with jousting lances and swords, and just not to mention, I mean, I'm surprised I haven't gotten one about the Illyrian package yet. So it's yeah, this is pretty great, guys. Thanks for this. This is hilarious.
Come on, pick out one or two to read.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay.
I don't think we can post all of them here, Destard, but I think we might be able to make a composition of them and maybe
I
post
think
them in
we'll
our
have
Kingdom
to.
Discord.
We can maybe get Kit to put them in the next
Yeah.
Chronicles or something. That'd be
All right.
really
All right,
fun.
Mel.
Okay. I'm gonna read out Kit's favorite. Okay, so hey baby, you got some dross blood because those legs go on for days. And then we've got
Alrighty.
oh Jesus. Oh god. I almost don't want to read this one, but I will.
Do it.
Roses are red, lemons are sour. Open your legs and give me an hour. So you rhymed.
Not sure it's Illyrian related.
It's not
but
really
yeah.
Illyrian, but you rhymed.
I think it's one I used to have in my repertoire back in my youth. Yeah. Alrighty.
Oh man. So yeah, keep sending them in, guys. You can just watch me giggle away over here.
Yeah, we'll probably be announcing the winner here in a few minutes. We haven't, there's a lot going on with Chronicles of Illyria at the moment, but it's kind of like so much of it is going on in the background. I think, and I don't want to kind of like be teasing or anything like that, but we had, some of us in the exclusive 10K channel had a chat with the studio a few days ago, and what's coming is we didn't get any kind of like so much specifics, but there's just so much that's kind of like ready to bubble through, for want of a better word. And I think Noz, can you give us a date? Is there any clearer date? The last I heard was around about end of March or beginning of April, which is only a couple of months away now for when we're anticipating Vox Illyria for at least the Alpha 1 backers.
Yeah, that's currently the. I mean, obviously they plan to get it to us before the end of the year. They want to get it to us tomorrow. I have no doubt that they want to get it into our hands as quickly as possible. But I think that I was about to say I think around the 1st of April, but I don't want that April Fool's joke. Yeah, just kidding. It's not here. It's 2 more months away. No. But yeah, I could see it, end of March, 1st of April, somewhere in there. I think that's the current goal right now. Yeah, I think you're right on the money there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And, so people are aware, I don't think it's necessarily meant to be, oh, you paid lots and lots of money so you can get in first, although, physically and mechanically that is what happens. Generally speaking, in any MMO, when you have that first alpha, it's relatively unpolished. It's so that you can have a small focus group kind of like point out the bugs, say, wow, this needs to be addressed, that needs to be addressed. And these are people that, can kind of like, understand, for want of a better word, what's going on, rather than opening it up straight away to everybody. And then you get on a whole bunch of gaming sites. Oh, this sucks, this is crap, etc., etc. So they polish it more and more as they bring in Alpha 1 people, Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2, etc. Currently, it is running in friends and family. All righty. So, does anybody else have anything that they want to add? I think we're probably about done, and we shall announce our winner of the contest here shortly. Anybody have anything else to add, Noz?
No. I'm just I hate that it's over so short. I would love to see Mel sit here and giggle and squirm more, but
she's kind of squeaking.
I'm having a ball. Great. I want to judge this every time.
Alrighty, Elb, do you have anything else to add just about
Nope.
Illyria or the community in general, etc.?
I love you guys.
No
Dizzard,
sword
to answer-
fighting. No sword fighting. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Why don't they just bring it out honestly? Is what Dizzard is asking, and I'm saying, you know, it's because if they did, people would probably kind of like be disappointed if it's in an unpolished mode. You know, they want to get it out to as many people as possible, especially, you know, we're looking now at going with the crowdfunding route instead of going with at least for now, instead of going with an investor. And so it is, you know, 100% in SBS's interests to bring out Vox Illyria tomorrow if they could to Alpha 1 backers. The more excitement, the more interest they can generate, obviously the more crowdfunding they'll get. But I think it also speaks highly in that there isn't this sense of desperation of, oh my God, we need it out now kind of thing, you know? It's being done, I think, in at a pace that is slower than those of us, including everybody here on this live stream. It's slower than what we would potentially want to see for ourselves. We'd love to be playing it tomorrow as well and have our hands on it. But you know, it'll be ready when it's ready, kind of thing. If you excuse the cliche. One other thing I did want to mention, and let me post. The website is down right now, but I'll actually post it right now since we have a little bit of time. You can go ahead and copy that link to your clipboard or something like that and look at it later. And we are having another contest in Board War, and I'll just briefly explain it. It's about somebody posted some lyrics for an anthem in our general chat, totally unexpected and unsolicited, and people going, "Wow, great! That would be great if we made that our anthem. Wow, we should set music to it. Yeah, what if we had somebody sing it, etc." And so we've built a competition, and it's open to everybody in the entire COE community for that. We're going to have three categories for prizes. There'll be lyrics, which will go first. That's running in February. Then there'll be music, which can be set obviously once the lyrics have been decided upon. That'll be running in March, and then in April we'll have somebody actually sing and kind of like put it all together and have a composition. We're really looking forward to how that comes about, so to speak, and what the end result is going to be. None of us have any idea or any clue, but it's kind of great that this was brought up by the community and has gained momentum within the community, not necessarily, you know, on a leadership level or anything like that, but it kind of like it, you know, we have like a critical mass where things are happening and people are having fun. So certainly check that out later. So without further ado, Mel, the winner of tonight's competition.
All right, so the winner's pickup line was, "I have this wagon for two. Why don't we try and make a third?" And that was oh, I'm gonna mess up your name. I'm really sorry. Dayu
Dayu,
77.
yeah.
Dayu.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Dayu 77. So just PMD and let him know whether you want the EP or I forget what the other one is. But get in touch with D and we'll get you sorted. Congratulations.
It is. It's either the 100 EP, or you can get a guild token, or you can get a villager token from me, whichever you would like to have, whichever you think is best for you. And I believe that wraps it up for us tonight. We're around about a little 10 minutes earlier on finishing than normal. Glad to have all of you join us and watch the stream. And we will be having another one in 2 weeks' time. And we will be then in the thick of account merging. There will be other information that has come out, and we'll keep you updated and give you our opinions on it. Take care, everybody, and thank you for joining.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.